I got my first cake order and we need to talk about it. Welcome back to The Station Bakery, and if you're new here, welcome. I'm Court, a home baker turned content creator, and now I'm starting my cake business again. I love to share my experience of running a cake business and inspiring others to go for the goal. If that's something that you're interested in, go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to my channel to get all the tea. So like I said, I got my first cake order and it was pretty exciting, especially since I haven't even launched yet. There's so many things to discuss about how this happened and what has happened since. But first, let me give you a little update on what's been going on with the Station Bakery. So going into my cake business this second time around, I was so confident in how this whole thing was going to play out, and I was fairly confident that I was going to be able to be successful. What I did not see coming was the mental struggle of knowing what to do because you've done it already before, and then actually executing it. There are so many mental roadblocks that I have faced throughout this entire journey. I know that there are many of you out there who have probably experienced the same or are experiencing the same right now. So sharing the vulnerability behind the reality of what's happening as I'm trying to relaunch my cake business, I think is going to be helpful for me just to vent and get it off my chest, but also for others who may be experiencing the same thing. And just to let you know, no matter where you are in your business, there are gonna be obstacles and roadblocks that you're gonna have to personally face and work through. I think it's very common when starting a cake business that a lot of times we only look to and focus on the fun things, the things that we find exciting, which are usually decorating the cake, baking the cakes, coming up with flavors, making beautiful pictures, all of those things. And then we tend to struggle or procrastinate with the things that we don't find joy in. And that is exactly where I'm finding myself. I have spent so much time creating new recipes, working on my packaging, working on my social media campaigns, creating new products to share with you, home bakers. But actually executing a few steps that are needed for my business to actually get going, I've been pressing the brakes. And it has really shocked me and taken me aback because I didn't think that this would be my experience at all. There are some major struggles that I had to get over. One of those is my website. I thought that this was going to be a breeze because I'm using the same website platform that I've used previously. But for some reason, it's just not really working out for me right now with the plans that I have for my cake business. Which of course is perfectly okay because as you and your business grow, the systems and processes that you put into place grow and change as well. Many times we want perfection, but sometimes we just need to go for functional. So now that I've given you what's been going on behind the scenes, let's get back into how I got my first cake order. I was sitting here, just minding my own business, and then one day I got an order request, and it was a person requesting a birthday cake. I was so excited that I was able to get this order, but I was also baffled because how did I get this order? I haven't even launched yet. But I shouldn't have been too surprised because I did start the process to start getting my name back out there. In my video about me starting my cake business again, I laid out my complete blueprint for how I was going to get orders. And I began executing that plan. And from just the little bit that I have already executed, resulted in me getting this potential order, even though I have not officially launched. So if you haven't seen that video where I laid out my strategy for my cake business, be sure that you go and check it out. This is what I think happened. I mentioned that one of the things that I wanted to do was to go and make connections at the school that my kids were starting at. And I did that. I made a few customized mini cake pans for my daughter's school. There were other parents who were present in the front office when I handed these treats over. And of course, if you see someone coming in with cakes and treats, you're gonna be a little bit curious about it. And that's exactly what happened. One of the parents there was curious about what I was giving out and where it was from. And so I was able to explain in front of all of the people in the office that I have a home bakery business and I make cakes. She requested to have one of my business cards. So thankfully I had business cards that I had brought along with the mini cake pans, and I was able to give her one of those. Now, was it actually her who sent in the order request? I don't know. Was it someone else who was in the office? I don't know. Is it someone that knows one of the staff members who received one of my mini cake pans? I don't know. All I know is that somehow, some way, someone got a whiff of me and my cake business and wanted to try me out. And that's pretty exciting. Another option that I think might have happened, and if you have not seen this video where I talk about how I got orders the first time around that I ran my cake business, be sure to go check that video out because I did implement one of those tactics. When people post looking for a baker, that I always insert myself into the conversation, whether I actually want to serve that customer or not, because it is another form of marketing. If that person is searching for a cake, that is going to catch the eyes and attention of other people who might potentially be looking for a cake in the future as well. So by having my name listed on that post serves as a form of marketing for other people to be able to find me as well. Now I know we have the memes that are going around saying if someone is asking for someone who's not gonna charge an arm and a leg, then don't tag me in it. But as for me, I'm gonna tag myself in it. And while I might not necessarily want to work with that customer, there are other people who are going to come across that post who will want to pay for your quality of work. We have to get out of our comfort zones of waiting for people to come to us and get out in these streets and meet them where they're at. So that's what I did, and I believe that that is how I got my first order. Now let me give you the real tea about what happened, okay? So she reached out and I responded back to her. We had a quick back and forth conversation about what she wanted, what I could provide, and what the price was. She was perfectly fine and on board throughout the entire process and was like, yes, go ahead and send me the invoice so I can make the payments. Mwah. Don't we love when that happens? I sent over the invoice and I didn't get that deposit that I had asked for. So I was like, okay, what's going on here? So I sent a follow-up and she was like, oh, I didn't receive the invoice. So I was like, okay, no worries. I sent it in a separate email, but here's the link for it so you can go ahead and pay for it. Okay, cool. Then the next day, she still hadn't paid that invoice. So at this point, I'm starting to be like, okay, what's going on here? Like there was no pushback on the pricing. You know, everything seemed fine. So what's really happening? I started thinking and wondering like, man, well, did I charge too much? I know, can you believe it? I know that we like to talk and joke about it, but it's real. And we all experience that and go through that sometimes. And that's just the reality of things. And it's okay. So all of these thoughts were going through my head because I'm trying to figure out like, where is the miscommunication? So after a couple of days, I hadn't heard back from her and she hadn't paid the deposit yet. So my system sends out reminders letting the customer know when the payment is due. And then they also send out reminders to let them know that payments are overdue. So those reminders were being sent out and I was like, let me give her some time to figure out what she's gonna do and hopefully she'll pay and come through. So after a few days, she hasn't paid and I'm finally just settling into the fact that, okay, this is not going to be an order that is actually going to happen. And I have to be real with y'all. I was a little bit disappointed because it's like, man, what happened? Although in reality, I know that it's nothing wrong with me and my business. It's just people go through things. People have their own thoughts and opinions. Maybe she found another baker that she liked more. So a few more days passed and I had to send the email letting her know that because I hadn't heard from her and the payments have not been paid, that I was going to have to cancel her order. And can you guess what happened next? She responded. She let me know that some things had happened to her personally, which caused her to have to push the birthday party date back. And they aren't quite sure of the day that they are going to actually have the party on. But she assured me that she does still want to place the order because she really wanted to order from me and she would update me when they have a date. Okay, cool. No problem. But I know what you're probably thinking, okay? We all know one or two things that's happening here. One is that she has no intention of actually placing the order, but she didn't want to just outright say that she wants to cancel the order for whatever reason. Or just right now she's in a tough situation and she's trying to work it all out. Either way, it is perfectly okay. This is all a part of running a business. Would I want this order to go through? Absolutely. But I'm also okay with the fact that I just might not be the baker for her at this moment, and I'm okay with that. So my first order, although I got the inquiry coming through, is still up in the air. So I'll keep you updated. I'll keep you updated on what happens, okay? So here's what's coming up for the Station Bakery. I am getting ready to launch my social media campaign, letting the world know that the Station Bakery is back open for business. I am also going to be executing another phase in my plan, which will be gifting my neighbors in my neighborhood some cake. I'm also going to update you on how I'm going to be packaging my products. So make sure that you stay tuned for all of those videos. If you enjoyed hearing all about my business in this video, then be sure that you like this video, share it out with all of your friends, leave me a comment below, and subscribe. I wouldn't be able to do any of this without all of you. So thank you. And I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.